Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's BDF44 coming at you with another video. So I wanted to kind of talk about Dennis Schroeder turning down the 4 years, $84 million contract extension that the Lakers offered him. It was the maximum amount that we could offer him at this point. Um, I don't blame him necessarily. I think he can get a couple more dollars than that. I don't know if he would be able to get up to 100, but I think he could. I think holding out on 84. I think 84 is fair value for who he is. For 84 and 4 is fair. He's not a superstar, but he's not a role player. He's a starter, but he's an above average starter. Unfortunately, the field of point guards, it seems as if the average starter is of his tier or higher, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily diminish his value, in my opinion. He's efficient, he's active, and he's very, very consistent, extremely consistent, and consistent at a high level. Very close to an all star. So 84, 4 years, solid. He's in his prime, all that. That's a good contract. Um, but it's not crazy for him to turn it down. And the reason why it's not crazy for him to turn it down is because over the last several years we've seen teams overpay for guys. Regardless of what their value actually is, we know that they've gotten more for what they are. Um, so to accept fair value, um, it's something that you can argue maybe might not be the best value for yourself at this stage. However, you know, uh, I've said this before and I'll say this again. When you sign with certain teams, one of the things that you're paying for is uh, the inability for that team to promise you a championship caliber situation. Some teams are going to be expecting to be bad. Now, we've seen teams overachieve, like, for example, the Oklahoma City Thunder last year. We've seen team overachieve, and you may sign with that team and for a certain value and feel great that you're on that team. But chances are, you see a guy like De'Aaron Fox sign his contract. It's super inflated. It looks great. Even though he's valuable in that way, you still know that he probably wouldn't have made that amount if he played for certain other franchises. And it's because you're playing for that. You are being paid to play for a franchise that's probably not going to get out of the first round. Okay, that's worked into the equation. And two is the prospect of signing with a team that has championship aspirations. You may have to lose money for that opportunity, because not just principle in terms of principle, but like in terms of the numbers, the team is better, so they have less cap to offer you. So it's like, I think Dennis Schroeder is in a situation where he can win multiple championships, or at least play for multiple championships. And at $84 million for 4 year deal, yeah, maybe you turn that down if it's with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Maybe you turn that down if it's with the Atlanta Hawks. But if you're talking about playing with the Lakers in this era, when LeBron James is on tab for another couple years, when Anthony Davis is on tab for another couple years, when they just acquired Andre Drummond and are very much looking to pay him, when they still have Trez on the books for an extra year and he's going to be up for an extension, like, somebody's going to get that 4 year deal, 84, and it's probably going to be Drummond. He's going to probably let Dennis Schroeder walk, and that's not a guarantee that Dennis Schroeder is going to find himself with a better contract or even a better situation either, to be honest. We've seen this happen with players. Think about Isaiah Thomas' situation when he thought he was going to get 200 with the Celtics and then went down with an injury, and now suddenly his situation changed. Think about a guy like Boogie Cousins, same thing. A guy like Dennis Schroeder is not of that caliber. He can go from being valued at 84, get a knee injury, and now be a mid-level exception guy overnight. You have got to consider that when you turn down these contracts. I'd say that to anybody and everybody, especially players that are entering their prime. Your value is high as heck, and you may be able to outplay it. But that value that you get from having guaranteed years with a good franchise, or a franchise that's playing for something and that has the pieces in place for multiple years, you have got to value that. You got to work that into your equation. Because if you don't, you may find yourself on a bad team, multiple bad teams, contract traded all over the league. It's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. But I'll tell you this, 84 $4 million, if that contract is on the books, it is movable, but it's not something you're quick to move if it's attached to a healthy Dennis Schröder. You probably have some job security on this team. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of losing. As to where if that contract gets moved, unfortunately, to a bad team, whomever, suddenly you're looking at a situation where it may get bought out. And you don't know where you're going to be spending the next couple years. It could be all over the league after a while. Look at a guy like Trevor Ariza. I remember when he left the Lakers, didn't take the deal, allowed his agent to talk him out of that deal. He ended up signing with the Rockets, stayed there for a season, and didn't win nothing. Ron came over here, took his money, won a championship with us. Trevor Ariza been on more teams than anybody else since. Ain't found a home since. He spent every year he getting traded. Now he get traded twice a week. He didn't have 4 years, 84 on the table. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is, yeah, Dennis, you may find yourself on the Orlando Magic at 4 years, $100 million, but you'll never win a championship. You'll never have no bright lights paying attention to your game. You'll never have yourself in a position where you're playing with the likes of a LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You got a couple extra dollars, but there's no guarantee they're going to offer you that. We've seen guys turn down deals and then get offered much less and then be no injury. Nothing changed. They just can't find that value. Suddenly the market itself changed. Suddenly the premium on their position changes. Suddenly the game passes them by somehow. Now you don't need that player as much anymore. Maybe a player that has those same characteristics did something goofy in the playoffs. Now they don't trust players like y'all. These type of things happen. You got to strike while the iron's hot. You got the Los Angeles Lakers, the defending champions, offering you $84 million for 4 guaranteed years. You better consider that again. You better think about that again. Like I said, they just got Drummond. Now they probably like, nah, they ain't even on the table no more. We want to resign this guy. That probably isn't even on the table anymore. So a lot of people are looking at the Lakers saying, oh, they were stupid for not trading Kyle Lowry, blah, blah, blah. Dennis Schroeder's value is not going to be retained if he walks for nothing. That's true. But if we trade for Kyle Lowry and we bring him back and we're not happy with his value, now we have something we don't want, and we would have depleted more than what we wanted to in order to acquire him. THT's in the balance here. We don't have to just give him away. You know what I mean? For a 35-year-old point guard that's going to make us only marginally better than Dennis Schröder would. Now, if Dennis Schröder walks, as I said, players have characteristics and different things. He has characteristics that many players have. His strengths are strengths that we can find elsewhere. You know what I mean? I hate to say this, but it ain't hard to find a Dennis Schröder in this league. It's just not. So I think the Lakers were fair in that offering him that money, and I think they're going to be okay if he walks away for nothing. Because at the end of the day, now we've acquired players that we would like to pay that we probably can't afford. So it would benefit us greatly if he ain't here asking for 4 years, 84, when Drummond's probably going to ask for something similar. Kyle Lowry would ask for something similar. He would probably want an extension upon winning a championship with us. He's that caliber of player, much more expensive than probably both of them. And he's older. So I don't regret not making that trade. I don't think that was the right move. Now, is there a move we could have made leading up to this, knowing that Dennis Schröder wasn't going to resign or possibly wouldn't resign? Yeah. We could have done something. We could have probably traded him for 2 second-rounders or something. But at the end of the day, we believe that Dennis Schröder can help us win. And we're a win-now team. So even if he's a rental, our pieces this year matter. You think we care that Dwight Howard only stayed for a year? Nobody even remembers that. All we know is he was very important to us winning the championship, and now we're happy because we have it. Same goes for Dennis Schröder. If we win the championship with him and he walks, guess what? We were champs. We had him for a year. We're happy about it. There's a million different things that can happen after that. I mean, the Lakers are starting to have rumors about Steph Curry, which I don't think will happen, but that's the point. It's like, this is the NBA. And when you have LeBron James on your team, the impossible is possible, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if Steph Curry's a Laker in 2022. Then what's Dennis Schroeder's contract? But something we try to trade so we can make room for Steph. I mean, we don't need that. We need Dennis Schröder this season. We would like to have Dennis Schröder going forward. But he's replaceable, and at that price, we will live. We will simply live. You know what I mean? It's fine if he signs it. It's fine if he doesn't. That's how I feel. So, you know, for Dennis, I said what I had to say about that. I don't blame him for turning it down in theory, but you got to know what you're paying for. You got to know that you're not going to get what you can find here everywhere. Especially not at that wage, not at those prices. So, anyway, my name is BDF44. That's what I got to say today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.